My beloved child, please do not scroll past this moment, for I have guided you here for a specific reason, and I need you to pause for just a moment, to let my presence steady your racing heart. Because this word is reaching you on purpose, right where you find yourself now, not by accident, and certainly not too late. I want to bring you close, not to remind you of what you have lost or where you have failed, but to remind you that I have seen you in every unseen struggle. And if you rush past this video, you might miss the gentle shift I am stirring beneath your questions, the quiet answer hidden inside your tired heart that you have been longing for. Pause with me now. Take 3 slow breaths. If this landed in you, say aloud, I am held. You have wondered so many times if your endurance has mattered, or if anyone, even I, saw the nights you laid awake when silent, unanswered prayers seemed to vanish into the ceiling. But I tell you now that your faith was never wasted, for it was shaping you in ways no one else could witness, transforming the deep ache of waiting into something eternal that cannot be taken from you. Let my presence settle around you now, like a warm breath in the cool morning air, and ask yourself, can you sense my nearness, closer than the very air you inhale? Each time you felt alone, I want you to know you were not abandoned, for I held you together, never releasing my hold, even as tears slipped quietly down your face and heaviness threatened to swallow your hope. I leaned nearer, gathering every sigh, every question you scarcely dared to whisper, and though you might not have seen my hand, you felt the resilience that let you open your eyes for another sunrise, and that strength was me living within you. You pressed on, even when my voice seemed hidden, even when confusion circled you in shadows. And in those moments, your faith no longer felt loud or proud, just a fragile thread. Yet you clung to it with a bravery that echoed across heaven. You questioned, asking why you are still waiting, and if any of this matters. But in that quiet room where you placed your hand over your heart, just to remember you were still here, know that I watched your strength arise, a strength not born from striving, but from surrender. Place your hand over your heart now and whisper, I will keep going. If you're watching this later, bookmark or save it so you can return to this steadying place. You walked through a season that felt emptied of answers, where nothing went according to plan. And while in the world's eyes, all they saw was struggle, I saw the secret worship of how, even when you felt overlooked, you chose forgiveness over resentment, and kindness where bitterness could have grown. Each sacrifice in secret, every honest yes when you could have turned away, became a victory that outlasts applause. For my child, I did not need your perfection. What moved my heart was your perseverance, and that is what passes the test. If you look back, remember how you reached moments that seemed like breaking points, where the ache was real, the prayers sometimes felt hollow, and you were tempted to step away, but you kept walking, sometimes not out of certainty, but sheer determination to believe one more day. I heard the questions you tucked away under your breath, asking if I was still with you, and my answers settled quietly inside you, urging you to keep moving because I am not gone. Even when you couldn't feel me, you moved forward, and even when you didn't understand, you held on, sometimes with nothing more than raw hope. And heaven saw what only I could see, which is that you did not just survive, you became stronger in the fire. If this truth stirs you, Share it with one person who needs to hear they are seen. You might be the encouragement they've been waiting for. You thought my silence was absence, but it was the proof that I trusted you with a deeper purpose, knowing you would rise even as you doubted your own endurance. I allowed delays and confusion, not as punishment, but as the forge of deeper faith, because the fire you passed through was never meant to consume you, but rather I protected you, shaping you into something as pure as gold, refining and revealing what could not be seen from the outside. Every unanswered prayer and every closed door were not denials, but moments of training, emptying your hands so they could be filled with something new. And did you realize I was building you, not breaking you down? Think of the nights you thought you could not continue when your strength was depleted, and your prayers seemed to echo in vain. Yet I was closer than your next breath, and the questions you never uttered became opportunities for you to draw even nearer, to reach for me not out of ease, but desperation and trust. I saw you give your last ounce of love when you felt empty, serve when overlooked, and choose peace instead of striving to be understood. And these choices made in secrecy echoed through eternity. Every act of obedience, every time you lifted your eyes when everything was falling apart, counted. And it did not matter whether anyone else approved or applauded, for I was watching with delight. Speak aloud this promise now. I am being shaped for good. If you can, type that phrase where you'll see it later. A note on your mirror, a reminder in your phone. Even as you walked away from comfort, pride, or the easy path, even when it felt everything you valued was being stripped away, I was directing you into something secure. For what felt like loss was protection, and what looked like the end was my preparation. As you compared your story to those who seemed to race ahead while you stood still, remember my timing is different, always drenched in wisdom and kindness, for you have questioned why others receive answers before you, or why blessings lagged behind your prayers. Beloved, if I had given you everything you wanted, exactly when you wanted, it would have drowned your spirit beneath a weight you were not meant to carry yet. So the hidden seasons, when you felt overlooked or passed by, were not delays, but destinations of preparation, where I was rooting your identity in me, not your achievements, ensuring that when I opened doors, you stepped through them, not with pride, but with gratitude and steady humility. If you had not endured the silence, you may have clung to the blessing and forgotten the giver. So let my presence fill you again. Breathe deeply and feel the warmth of my approval as you recall, perhaps for the first time, that every sacrifice, every time you chose me over comfort or convenience, sparked joy in heaven. The world told you to measure gain by visible success, but I saw the holy weight of your persistence, and the questions you asked me in the darkness were the very invitations I used to deepen your roots, so that nothing could shake you from my love. If you let this truth settle over you, the restlessness will ease and gratitude will rise as silently as dawn, because you have been through a fire that felt designed to destroy, when in reality it stripped away what no longer belonged and left only what was eternal. The seasons you labeled as loss, I called them preparation, and every difficult detour, every relationship that could not stay, was gentle redirection. Because I loved you too much to let anyone or anything keep you from growing into the very strength I planted in your spirit. Each pain, instead of diminishing you, became the soil for new joy and unshakable peace. And the time when the silence pressed down and you learned to hear my whisper was priceless. When comfort was absent, you turned fully to me, and where loneliness tried to breed despair, you discovered my companionship does not depend on circumstances. So faith has formed deeper than emotion, and you carry peace that nothing can take from you because you trusted me more than what you saw. As you linger here with me, realize that heaven is not waiting for your perfection, only your perseverance. And that is exactly what you have given, so you have not failed, my child. Where others saw only your stumbles, I rejoiced every time you stood back up, every time you chose to trust once more, even as your hope felt thin. For my arms were always the invisible strength under your heart, catching each tear as it fell, and promising nothing would be wasted. Right now, make a small vow. Speak or write, I will choose perseverance. Keep that vow somewhere visible this week to remind you of this moment. There's more ahead, a turning point beyond what you can imagine. So do not move away from this moment, because the next word I speak is specifically for you. As sunlight moves quietly across the room, I draw near to you, gentler than the softest morning breeze, inviting you to breathe deeply and lay aside every burden. For in this stillness, I am not a distant hope or a memory you struggle to recall, but I am here, alive in your present, nearer than your own heartbeat. What weighs on your heart, what thoughts echo in the back of your mind, are not invisible to me. For I see the moments when doubts flicker, wondering if you are enough, if you are truly seen, if your future rests safely, even as uncertainty peeks around every corner. Before anxiety steals your attention, let my care settle over you like warmth, drawing each anxious thought out of shadow and into the safety of my promise, because I know how life's pace can exhaust the soul, urging you to run faster, reach higher, and never pause. But I have not called you into frantic striving, so release the need to orchestrate every outcome, the unspoken belief that it all depends on your relentless effort. And let me remind you that my presence goes before you and behind you. There is no part of the journey in which you walk alone or unseen. So breathe out the tension that gathers in your chest, knowing you are allowed to stop striving even just for this moment, and discover what happens when you let me carry the things you've held too tightly for too long. I see the silent questions you carry, asking, what if I fall short? Or what if change never comes? But with gentle authority, I speak into every hidden fear to tell you that you are not defined by yesterday's failures, nor by the opinions of those who cannot see the whole of who you are. I have already gone ahead preparing new beginnings and mending places of fracture, even where you believed healing was impossible. So when you struggle to believe that hope is more than wishful thinking, let my words become the ground beneath your feet, more certain than any voice of discouragement. There is a quiet strength that rises when you remember where your true help comes from. So as the morning begins, or as evening settles, turn your heart to me and let gratitude stir again, noticing how every small act of thanks opens your eyes wider to the gifts I have tucked into your day. Laughter that erupts unexpectedly, a friend's faithful kindness, the gentle rhythm of your breath. These are reminders that goodness is not rare or reserved for someone else, but yours to receive. Evidence of my care, traced into the fabric of daily life. Let gratitude protect your peace, And when thoughts of family surface, the longing for unity, for children to flourish, for wounds to heal, know that I am invested in every story, every relationship, every ache for harmony. You are not petitioning some indifferent force, hoping for scraps of kindness, but you come to a Father who pays careful attention to each person you love, whose heart beats with even greater longing for reconciliation and joy than your own. As you lift the names of those you cherish, trust that my hand is working, often invisibly, connecting hearts, restoring what seems lost, softening what has grown cold. For my presence creates the possibility of new beginnings every day. The rhythm of surrender is where you find your true rest, not as giving up, but as an active handover, moment by moment, of your dreams, your worries, your timetable, and your need for answers. Each act of trust is an open invitation for me to do what only I can do, breaking open doors that no human effort could unlock, illuminating your way when uncertainty clouds your steps, and providing what is needed in the very moment it is needed. When you lift your hands literally or in the quietest whisper of your heart and say, "Have your way, Lord," you position yourself to receive far more than you dare imagine. For my timing is not slow or forgetful. It is tenderly precise, arriving not a day too late. When disappointment presses in, when doors remain shut and patience is thin, do not assume this delay is rejection or that you are overlooked among many. For I am teaching you to discern my pace, to listen for my guiding voice amid your own desires and the world's urgency. What I withhold now, I do out of wisdom, so that what you receive will be good, whole, and lasting, because your worth is constant, not measured by success, opportunity, or comparison. Each day I am shaping within you a trust that endures, a vision strong enough to wait and watch expectantly. And I am here to shield you from threats, both seen and hidden, to provide shelter when the world feels unsteady. Nothing catches me off guard. No crisis, no change, no news will ever outpace my power to protect and provide. So as you rest, as you go about your work, as you care for those entrusted to you, know that my attentive care is like a hand upon your head, letting your heart find calm in knowing that whatever comes, my faithfulness is your safe place. There are days when the world's opinions crescendo, voices shouting about who you should be, what you should accomplish, how you should measure success. But in that noise, I call you back to your truest identity, beloved, not because of what you have done, but because you are mine. Your story is unique and sacred, and your calling is not a race to keep up, but a path to walk with me step by step. So when comparison steals your confidence, come let me restore it with a gentle reminder that no one else can fill the space I designed for you. No one else carries the combination of gifts, history, and hope that I have placed within you. So let yourself pause today, not out of guilt, but out of need, to experience what it feels like to be completely seen and loved. When you wonder if I am truly attentive to your every detail, remember that not a sigh, not a doubt, not a dream escapes my notice. So in stillness, let my nearness become more real to you than any anxiety, any shadow that tries to crowd your mind. You do not need to figure everything out before you rest in me, for my wisdom is available right here, right now, as surely as your next breath. And when you open your heart, you make space for grace to rewrite what fear has forecast. You are never left to navigate this life alone or unsupported. For my guidance is not a vague or delayed promise, but truth you can lean on moment by moment. And even now, as you stretch your faith, I am speaking peace to that place within you that craves certainty and clarity. Lean in, beloved, and allow my gentle leadership to steady every next step. For even when you feel at times adrift, unable to pinpoint where certainty lies, I am near even there at the breaking of day when questions gather before your first sip of breath. When you look around your home, your loved ones sleeping or beginning to stir, know that I watch over each of them, and you do not have to carry tomorrow's burdens while it is still today. Let today's light come gently, not pulled forward by your own striving, but received as a gift I have prepared with care. For there is no part of you beyond my gentle touch, and nothing you dread shrinks my faithfulness. Let your anxieties come into my light, for I do not flinch at the weight you carry. And when you feel pressure building, pause and breathe deep to let your breathing bear witness to the soul I have gently formed within you. With every exhale, you can release what you were never meant to hold alone: the fear of missed opportunity, the ache for reconciliation that hasn't come, the sense that you are not enough to meet the needs around you. Let those cares become like mist before me, for my presence is steady shelter. And do not measure yourself by how quickly you can solve or resolve, but by the nearness you maintain to me, even in uncertainty. Some mornings peace arrives quietly like the hush before rain, while other days struggle tries to claim the room. But in every season, practice small acts of gratitude right where you are, noticing a kind word exchanged, the warmth of coffee in your hand, or the honest eyes of a friend, acknowledging these as gifts. Thankfulness is not an escape from reality, but a way to reawaken to mine. And though some challenges take root in your mind overnight, multiplying doubts before you've even stood up, remember, I am not far from your wrestling. My voice calls not from a mountaintop, but from within the hush of your life, inviting, not demanding. So when you whisper your worries, I lean in, asking you to bring me your confusion and your reluctance, which I hold gently. If you cannot fix it or feel it all at once, you need not pretend. Just let me be present right where you are and trust that you will see my guidance as it unfolds, lighting your steps, not always the whole road, but enough for now. If your heart is restless while waiting for answers, let that restlessness become longing for my presence more than for resolution, releasing your timeline and your striving, because even in waiting, you are deeply seen. The prayers you've whispered just before drifting to sleep and the hope you dare not name aloud are safe with me, and I never turn away at your uncertainty. For I am the one who makes all things new, beginning in quiet places. Breathe again, this time slower, placing your hand above your heart to notice the rhythm I have set there. A reminder that you are not holding everything together by your own might, but I hold you. And by holding you, I free you from having to control outcomes you cannot change. When the world rushes at you with demands or judgments, retreat for a moment into my immediate presence, imagining it like standing in sunlight, letting warmth settle on your skin. For this is how I cover you. If you worry about your family's future, know that I rejoice over each name, each quiet hope, each hidden tear, for nothing escapes my notice, not the smallest sign or the most silent grief. So entrust them to me every morning, as if placing them in the safest hands. parenting, partnership, friendship. These are sacred ground where I nurture endurance, laughter, and compassion. So trust that my care goes before you and behind you, preparing peace even in situations you have not yet seen. Yes, there will be days when fear tries to eclipse your vision. But on those days, remember that your identity is not defined by your circumstances. For who you are is anchored not in achievement, not in flawless effort, but in being known and chosen by me. You do not fade from my memory, even when you feel invisible. For I see in you strength you may not recognize, and I am working in you even through what feels like weakness. Open yourself to my affirmation as real as dawn breaking fresh each day. And when you begin again, even after failure or disappointment, call my name, sometimes faltering, sometimes bold. For I celebrate every turn toward me, every moment you allow hope to slip back in despite the evidence. My faithfulness is not a reward for perfection, but a living promise to uphold you through all seasons. And though you may not always sense progress or see results, in the daily returning through words, silence, or simple intention, you open the way for healing and gentle realignment. There will be unexpected invitations today, opportunities not always labeled or obvious. So look for my presence in the overlooked, the gentle smile, the surprising kindness of a stranger, or the patience you extend to yourself. I am not distant from your daily rounds, but I am inside your routine, drawing you to notice what is real and valuable beneath the noise, urging you to pause to acknowledge me, even quietly in passing, for every acknowledgement draws you closer, tuning your heart to recognize my guidance above lesser voices. You may wonder if you will ever truly overcome, or if this season will ever shift. And these are questions I honor, not condemn. For longing is part of being alive and aware in a world not yet whole. You can bring your longing to me safely, for I will not shame you for what you hunger for. In fact, I desire you to risk hope, to believe that with me, new beginnings are possible. Let disappointment not harden your soul, but keep it tender, ready for the possibility of goodness breaking in when you least expect. For even in the mystery, I am your certainty, and my promises are not built on shifting foundations, but remain as steady as the steady cadence of your own breath. Keep stepping forward, not to earn my approval, but to experience the depth of my companionship, because each day's challenges and joys are invitations to return often to stillness. Reach for gratitude, surrender anxieties, and trust my timing. With each return to gratitude, to trust, to wonder, you are transformed, more and more able to notice what I am doing within and around you. So let the light today be enough, welcoming it as evidence that I am near and I am good. The door is open for your honesty, for your questions, for your gratitude and fears alike. So let this be your grounding. You are loved right now before the outcome, before the answer arrives, with a love that has never wavered. Where you begin this morning, there I am inviting you forward into all that I have in store, unfolding, present, steady. Even now, as you move through this moment, there are old echoes in your heart whispering that you are not enough. Shame carried from a story shaped by wounds and years. And I notice how it shapes your choices, colors your hope, and weighs you down just as you begin to rise. You may think your scars disqualify you, but I see them as markers of courage, the evidence that you have survived storms bent on breaking you. And with every breath, I am inviting you to bring those memories out from the dark places where they fester into the light of my relentless love. Let your heart sense the quiet strength I pour out now, knowing you are not defined by damage, but by my delight in you. For even the chapters you wish you could erase hold value, for I use what threatened to bury you to anchor the roots of your new life. Close your eyes for a moment and notice the slow, steady rise and fall of your chest, realizing each inhale and exhale is permission to begin again. I know the voices that have shaped your sense of self, the ones that spoke over you out of their own brokenness, that convinced you to guard your heart behind walls you barely notice now. But I am not like those voices. Where they condemned, I encourage, and where they rejected, I draw you closer. For my words will not bruise you, but instead they loosen the tight cords wrapped around your chest, releasing breath and hope and possibility. My child, this is not about forgetting the pain, it's about letting me touch it without fear. So place your hand over your heart now, right there where the ache lingers, and allow yourself to feel my nearness as something tangible, a warmth settling beneath your ribs. Do you sense it? That slight softening, the space that expands just for a moment? That is me breaking through to remind you that you are safe in my presence. Inside you is a relentless question asking if healing will ever last, or if restoration is just a fleeting feeling. But let me answer this directly. The work I begin in you, I will carry to completion. My timing may not align with your urgency, but it is perfect, crafted with the wisdom of ages. And each day you wake, even when pain greets you first, you are being transformed in ways far deeper than the world will ever acknowledge. Notice the small moments when laughter returns unexpectedly, those flashes of hope that shimmer then slip away. For I am behind them, drawing your spirit out from resignation, seeding joy where sorrow has taken over. Soon you will realize your heart has begun to trust again. Not because everything outside you changed, but because you allowed me to do the work within. Before you move on, speak this aloud and make it your anchor. I am being made new. Then, if moved, send this to one person who needs to be reminded today. Pause here, breathe, and absorb this truth, for you're already further than you think. And there is something I want you to see, a secret about how your wounds become my workshop. What seems like impossibility to you is an invitation for my power to be displayed, for I know exactly how to take the pieces you hide in shame and assemble them into a story that inspires courage in others. You ask what if you fail again, or if your progress is an illusion. But hear me clearly. Even when you stumble, I remain unfazed. For my commitment to you is not fragile, and I do not withdraw when you falter. In fact, I step closer in those moments, wrapping you in a security that is unearned, yet unstoppable. For this is your shelter, and I hold your life steady even when your grip loosens. Many have walked the road you now travel, a throng of the found and the freed moving with you. Though you may feel alone, their stories echoing through eternity, carrying the same hope I speak over you. Each one thought their struggle was unique, insurmountable, until I showed them what I am showing you now. That nothing is wasted and nothing disqualifies you from the destiny I have pronounced over your life. The pain that once threatened to silence you is being transformed into the very thing that will amplify your voice, commissioning you to carry hope not in spite of your wounds, but because of them. So stop and read that again, letting it settle into the spaces that ache for meaning. You are not just surviving, you are being remade daily. And do you feel the subtle shift even now? The enemy may press accusations louder when you draw near to transformation, telling you that old patterns will always return, but my voice carries more authority. My beloved, I am cutting through the noise with a new decree for you. From this day, shame loosens its hold, and within 72 hours, you will find unexpected peace during a moment that once triggered old pain. And you'll know it's me because relief will wash over you just as you are tempted to despair. You wonder if this is really possible, hesitating to trust fully, worried that hope will disappoint you again. But I am not asking for bravado or perfect faith, only that you let your guard down as much as you are able in this moment. I honor your bravery even when it looks like trembling, so speak aloud if you dare, saying, I am not who I was, I am being made new. And when doubt creeps in again, do not condemn yourself. Simply return to this moment, to these truths. My love is not a reward for performance. It is the anchor that keeps you steady through every storm. And right now, my hand is on your life in ways you cannot see. Some changes emerge slowly, quietly, a lightening of the soul, a warmth where cold fear lingered, while others arrive as unexpected moments of courage, a willingness to open up where you once hid. This is how breakthrough unfolds in ordinary hours, charged with sacred meaning. So watch closely this week, for someone will reflect your new strength back to you without knowing it, and you'll recognize my handiwork in their words, their encouragement, the way you feel seen. Place both feet on the ground, steady your body, and take a slower breath than usual, letting gratitude seep in, not for the pain, but for the presence that meets you there. For your life is not defined by what you've lost, nor by what broke you. I am doing something in you that cannot be erased by human failure or circumstance, restoring what was broken, lifting your head, and teaching you to see with new eyes. The future I have crafted is not fragile, but resilient, rooted in the certainty of my devotion. And there are doors you have given up knocking on, dreams you silently released to disappointment. But what if I told you that some of those very hopes are stirring again? Because I am breathing life into dreams you thought were dead. There are seeds in your heart you forgot even existed, now awakening as I call you forward. So do not be surprised when a moment of clarity rises within, outpacing your doubts. For this is my whisper guiding you into territory once off limits to your self-belief. You are moving from surviving to thriving, from hiddenness to holy confidence. So pause one more time, place your hand over your heart again, and feel that gentle pulse that is my promise echoing through your body. You are alive because you are purposed, and there is much still ahead to discover together. Beloved child, there is something deeper waiting as you step forward, for you have come further than you realize. And though you may not see the evidence your soul craves, nothing in your journey has been wasted. The tears you have cried in silence, the choices made in trembling obedience, the nights you thought I was distant, all these are precious to me, for I have held every unspoken longing, every hidden ache you buried deep within your heart. When you wake in the dark, breath shallow, mind turning with anxious questions, know this: I am already beside you, watching over the landscape of your thoughts, and even now, as you listen, I am breathing new courage into places fear tried to empty. You have wondered if the waiting means you missed your season, but I am the keeper of time, and I say to you, time has never been your adversary, for I control the sunrise and the breaking dawn, and your delay is not denial. It is preparation for greater things than you dare imagine. Sense my closeness in this moment. Let your shoulders relax as you inhale slowly. Feel the gentle pulse of your heartbeat under your palm, and know that rhythm echoes my commitment to you. There is divine purpose pulsing within you, waiting to unfold with every act of trust. And if you choose to surrender your worry, even if only for these next few breaths, you will notice the beginnings of peace rising where chaos once lived. I am asking you to hand over what you have carried alone. Each fear, each burden, letting them come into my hands. For you are not designed to live weighed down by fear, but created for communion, for joy, for victory, which is your birthright as my own, and I am relentless in reclaiming it for you. Sometimes you glance at others' breakthroughs and measure your worth by the speed of their journeys. But stop, for I am not comparing you. I am cultivating you. And though the roots I am growing cannot be seen, soon the world will recognize the transformation birthed from secret places. Do not despise your hidden seasons, for these are the days I used to strengthen you and repair what was fractured, turning your hiddenness into my mercy. So what you thought was obscurity is actually protection. The enemy has tried to convince you that I have overlooked you, but that is a lie. For I have marked you, called you by name, and shielded you from battles not meant for you to fight. And even now, a shift is happening deep in your spirit. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You may feel a heaviness lifting, and in its place, a delicate sense of anticipation, and you are not imagining it. For that quiet tingle along your skin, that subtle clarity breaking through the fog, is me reviving hope within you. This is not small or insignificant. It is the evidence of resurrection power flowing through places that seemed infertile. And your ability to sense this movement is a sign that your spiritual senses are awakening. Where numbness reigned, now boldness will arise, not from your strength, but from mine, renewing your mind, resetting your perspective, and restoring your ability to dream without apology. Breathe deeply, precious one. Take a moment to pull your awareness away from every voice that demands urgency, and instead tune your heart to my constant presence. Can you sense it? The atmosphere around you quieting as my peace settles over your anxieties? I am not in the storm of anxious thoughts or the cyclone of pressure. I am in the gentle reassurance filling the space around you. And I want you to know with certainty that nothing you have surrendered in faith will be lost. Every sacrifice has become seed in my garden, destined to yield beauty and abundance in your life, though you may not yet see the first green shoot break through the soil. Pause and place your hand on your heart once more and speak these words. I am loved beyond condition. And as you declare this, realize you are joining a movement of the awakened, those who have learned to trust me above their feelings and circumstances. Many have passed through the shadows of uncertainty and found solid ground under their feet, and so will you. For your scars are not proof of defeat. They are markers of survival, signals to others that healing is real and available. Nothing, no trauma, no rejection, no accusation has ever changed my mind about your worth. And in your lowest moments, when you questioned whether hope was foolish, I am here to tell you hope is the result of my faithfulness, the anchor that keeps you from drifting away. Some of you are facing a crossroads right now, and the choice ahead feels overwhelming, fearing making the wrong move and forfeiting my blessing. But hear me, my guidance is not fragile, nor does my love depend on flawless decisions. If you lean into me, even your missteps become pathways to redemption, for I can reroute you, restore lost opportunities, and resurrect dreams you buried when disappointment seemed final. Within 72 hours, you will notice confirmation, a conversation, a moment of insight, a door that suddenly nudges open again, and you will know it is me, because peace will flow where confusion once reigned, and your heart will settle into trust without forcing it. This will not be because you willed it into being, but because I made a promise to never abandon you in uncertainties. And right now, you might be resisting this, feeling it safer to expect little rather than hope big and risk another heartbreak. I see how you protect yourself by keeping expectations small, yet I am the one who reshapes your boundaries, not to frustrate you, but to free you from limitations that never belonged to you. Allow faith to rise again, even trembling and incomplete, for I receive the faintest whisper of trust and turn it into a shout of victory. Say it with me, I am becoming who I was born to be, and pause to read that again, letting these words settle into places still aching for validation. When doubts begin to resurface, remember that I have already spoken life over what others call dead, and the story of your life is being rewritten even as you listen. You will soon find that what you perceived as the end was only a doorway. So do not run from this discomfort, for it is the birthplace of transformation. Every great move of my spirit begins in surrendered hearts, and yours is precious to me, for you are not forsaken, not forgotten, not passed over. There is more that I am unfolding, more that I have hidden for your good. So in the coming days, watch for glimmers of hope, laughter that returns unbidden, strength that surprises you, relationships mending in quiet, unseen ways. When you witness these, do not dismiss them as coincidence, but recognize my fingerprints upon your life, letting gratitude become your anthem and joy your declaration. The places that felt barren will become places of abundance, and you will testify not just with words, but with a radiant new confidence. For I am not finished, and the greatest chapters are still unfolding. Child, I search your heart in the quiet spaces where fear sometimes lingers and old questions rise up again. And when you think you lack, I draw near to be your sufficiency. Before you even ask for what you need, I have already counted each hope, each sigh, every unspoken word that wrestles through you at first light. So let yourself remember my presence remains, even when the day ahead feels uncertain, or your own strength seems small. I am the one who steadies the hand you extend out of habit, the voice that soothes your inner anxieties before dawn fully breaks, and even the stillness between thoughts is filled with my attention on you. You sometimes wonder if the seeds you plant, your prayers, kindnesses, quiet acts of service are truly seen, or if they will ever bear fruit in your field of longing. But I assure you, not a single act escapes my notice. The ground may seem slow to yield, but what you entrust to me in humility takes root beneath the surface, where my spirit tends unseen growth. So when doubts rise up like morning fog, step into gratitude again, pausing if even for a heartbeat to let thankfulness anchor you in the moment. The gift of breath, the warmth of a sudden smile, these are signs of my nearness, reminding you not to measure harvest by what you see today. For beloved, your family, your friends, all those who come to your mind unbidden, none fall outside my watchful gaze. I am present in that house, in that hospital room, around every table where laughter fuses with careworn silence. So release them for a moment into my hands, knowing you cannot carry the whole world. I ask you only to trust me more than your fears and let my peace encircle you where anxiety crowds in. For the ache for reconciliation, the longing for guidance, every plea you whisper on behalf of those you love, these I hold with fierce, tender mercy. In your uncertainty about the future, resist the urge to rush into answers, for my timing is not your own, but my wisdom shapes what lies ahead. And sometimes the most heroic thing you can do is surrender the urge to control. When delay tests your spirit and you fidget with the edges of impatience, remember I am in the waiting. So let yourself exhale and unclench your fists, whether you are preparing for change or enduring a painful pause. I work under the surface, building the character and resilience you will need for what comes next, because nothing escapes my vision and nothing is wasted. At times you question your significance, weighed down by the persistent voice that says others are more visible, more chosen, more loved, wondering if you are seen or if your quiet faithfulness matters to me. But my reply is unwavering: you are mine, not because of what you manage, but because I have called you by name. The world's measurements do not touch the worth I've placed within you. So whenever shame tries to settle on your shoulders or comparison creeps into your heart, return to me and let me reaffirm your hidden value, the deep reality of your identity as my beloved. There will be moments when confusion clouds your sense of direction like gray clouds heavy before rain. But in those times, remember your calling is not a fixed destination, but a relationship rooted in my voice, a daily journey of trust without a map drawn in advance. I do not require perfect certainty from you, only willingness to walk forward, learning to listen, pause, and move again as I gently nudge you onward. For you are not behind. You are right on time within my plan. I will clarify the way when it's needed. And until then, your simple obedience is precious to me. And dear one, your desire for protection, for shielding those you love from harm, is a reflection of my own heart. You long for shelter and reassurance, and know that I cover you, my care surrounding each night's rest and each day's beginning. So even when storms arise, whether in relationships, health, or anxiety about tomorrow, let my nearness be your first defense. Picture my hand resting on your shoulder, steady and enduring. And in these moments, take a slow breath, knowing I am keeping watch when you cannot see what's ahead. When you are weary, do not shy away from admitting your fatigue, for I honor the honesty of your heart. And if your energy fails, you are not disqualified from my affection. Set aside the pressure to perform, to please every expectation, and let me refill your strength, for you have permission to rest. Listen for my encouragement in small ways, a gentle word, a memory of laughter, the comfort of a familiar song. For I am the one who restores you, not just in moments of triumph, but especially in the hidden places where you feel most vulnerable. If you hesitate, unsure if you have truly forgiven or if old wounds should have healed by now. Come to me without fear and surrender the remnants of bitterness that still weigh inside you, not as a gesture of denial, but as an act of trust. I understand the depth of your pain, and nothing surprises me, so open your heart in honesty, allowing my warmth to reach the places you dare not name aloud. Because forgiveness is not forgetting, but it is choosing to let my mercy do its healing work slowly and thoroughly in your soul. As you linger in this moment with me, I invite you into a new posture, a readiness to be surprised by hope, expecting that even in the ordinary routines, making breakfast, pausing before a meeting, watching sunlight spill across the floor, I am present, drawing your attention to possibilities you might overlook. Watch for my goodness in small interruptions and unexpected invitations, for my spirit works through simple joys, gentle reminders, and persistent peace. And there is more unfolding for you than you can yet perceive. Keep opening your heart because the story is still being written, child. And every time your chest tightens with the weight of cares, I am nearer than your very breath. I have shaped you for days that feel too heavy, and for mornings when the sun seems slow to rise. And in every trial, you are not left adrift, for my presence steadies you, anchoring your heart when the world shakes. Remember how quietly in the room before anyone else wakes, you sense my hand upon you, present, warm, gently urging you not to shrink from the day. And that same hand does not pull back when you doubt, or when the voices in your mind try to convince you all is lost. Even now, I'm pouring courage into your spirit, urging you to look up and find me ready. For you ask if you will always struggle like this and when the calm will come. I hear the cry underneath your brave front, and I know there are moments when your mind churns with endless questions about your future, about what is coming next, about how long you must wait. But do not judge yourself for feeling weak or uncertain. It is not your mighty will that gets you through. It is my sustaining grace. So when anxiety tugs at your soul, practice returning to this truth. Just as dawn faithfully breaks the dark, my care wraps around your every need before you even speak them aloud. Let's step into today together as you move through the small routines, feet on the cool floor, the steam from your cup, the hush outside, inviting my peace to meet you in those ordinary spaces. Whisper gratitude for what you have, not because it is all you long for, but because it anchors your spirit to the present where I am with you, practicing exhaling what you cannot control, picturing your fears in my hands, not buried or dismissed, but carefully tended and transformed by my presence. In this surrender, strength rises not from striving, but from trust for my child, your dreams and the longing in your chest, every hope you whisper into the quiet. I cherish them, never mocking your desires nor forgetting your prayers. Your obedience does not go unseen, and the steps no one else counts. The private choices you think are small, these are precious to me. So when you doubt if your journey has meaning, imagine me delighting in your willingness to keep going. Even slow progress, even faltering returns to hope are sacred in my sight, and some days loving well feels beyond your capacity. But I understand the effort it takes to offer patience, to seek peace amid tension, to hold your tongue when anger rises. Know this. I am forming gentleness in you that survives stormy words and anxious nights, feeding your spirit not with empty promises, but with a resilient kind of love, one that refocuses your eyes beyond the immediate storm. For my love does not expire when you fall short or when fatigue colors your attitude. Rest, little one, in the knowledge that my patience is infinitely wider than yours. And though you sometimes question why my timing does not mimic your desire, I see the urgency in your heart, the impatience that can flare when things stall or doors seem closed. Delay is not denial, and every pause I allow is an opportunity for you to discover treasures hidden in waiting wisdom, humility, compassion, deeper trust. While you lean into restlessness, I am planting roots within you, so you will not be easily toppled. For the world measures life in achievements and speed, but I look at what is growing steady beneath the surface. Family can be both haven and hardship, and I know when connection leaves you feeling fulfilled, and when it leaves wounds, so know that I am not far off when tensions simmer, or when the ache for unity goes unmet. Bring me your disappointments, the misunderstandings, the longings you harbor for healing, for I am working behind the scenes in ways unseen, so release the urge to control the outcome. Your prayers matter, and your posture of surrendered love releases my spirit to do what only I can accomplish. For my guidance rarely shouts, but it shines, a quiet prompting, a gentle pull toward what is noble and good. If you miss my direction, do not obsess over a lost opportunity or a wrong turn, for my purpose for your life is not so fragile that a single detour can thwart it, and I adjust and restore at every crossroads. Open your spirit to discernment, but release the pressure to be perfect. For if you pursue me with honesty, I will not let you drift far from my intended path. Allow me to lift off the shield of self-sufficiency you wear when the world assumes you must have it all together. For vulnerability with me is not weakness. It is the doorway to comfort and renewal. When you feel like crumbling beneath the surface, dare to be honest, cry out, whisper your need, let your tears fall if they come. For my arms are not folded in judgment, but outstretched to catch what you cannot hold. And nothing you feel is too small or too messy for my compassion. Stay alert to the subtle glow of my blessings found in laughter around your table, in the ways kindness returns to you from unexpected places, in the sacred hush just before sleep. For these are my reminders that you are not forgotten, not expendable, not alone. As you walk through this day, expect my gentle surprises and keep your spirit open. For I delight to remind you that hope is not only for the end of the road, but for each step you take with me now. You are reaching a threshold you have only sensed in longing, not yet seen with open eyes. And there's a deeper transformation stirring, born from all you have survived. You may still feel the lingering ache of old disappointments, the shadows of failures whispering that little has changed. But I tell you, the ground beneath you is shifting, and what once held you captive is losing its grip. For something new is breaking through, even beneath the surface of your daily routine. My spirit hovers over you even when you cannot perceive movement, and nothing in you escapes my generous gaze or escapes my power to heal. The next steps will feel unfamiliar, as if you are learning again how to trust, how to hope without the sheltering walls of old fears. But each past wound was not the end of your story, but a secret place where I planted resilient strength. So you're not just recovering, you are being recreated. Pause for a breath right now. Feel the thrum of life within, for this is evidence of resurrection working its way through you. My child, you are not who you were even last week, even yesterday, for your surrender has loosened the soil around your heart, softening the places that have grown hard from disappointment and delay. Notice the shift inside when you let down your guard for just a moment, that flutter, a sudden lifting of heaviness. Is my nearness moving through you, and you may not recognize yourself soon, for I am etching my likeness more boldly into your character. I know the places where you still hesitate, the way you glance behind, uncertain if the future can really be different from what has been. But beloved, your cautiousness is not lost on me. You want evidence, reassurance, a sign that your risk will not end in ruin. But let me show you a different equation. Faith is less about certainty, more about willingness. When you take even one trembling step, you set miracles in motion, and there is blessing in your movement, not just your arrival. For with every decision to trust again, you are participating in your own becoming. When you dare to speak, "I am chosen," even with timid lips, you reshape the atmosphere around you, and your obedience, however small, is a fragrance that rises. Even when you whisper it, "I am loved," despair shudders and backs away. For this is your invitation to speak boldly what I declare over you, to let my truth pierce the silence constructed by shame. Breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Feel that beating, knowing every pulse is permission to hope deeply, and speak it. I am being made new. My power never forces, only invites. And when you open your soul to me, what once was locked with fear opens with a gentle click, and the chain is already loosening. Can you feel it? Even now, peace seeping into anxious places where you have braced for more bad news. There is a fire being kindled in your spirit, a pure flame untainted by striving or old ambition. And this is not the return to what once was, but the birth of something you have only glimpsed in whispered prayers or sacred dreams. Throw a smile. Do not mistake discomfort for danger, for change always feels like the ache of stretching muscles unused for too long. But it is growth, not threat. Lean into the unfamiliar, knowing I am here matching my pace to your courage, neither rushing you nor letting you fall behind. The pressure you sense in this season is not punishment, but the forging of new strength. For I am preparing you for a commission that requires everything you have received and everything I am about to pour out. Some of you will awaken tomorrow with clarity you have begged for and never received until now. So be attentive to the moments of knowing, the flashes of insight dropped quietly into your ordinary day, and you'll know it's me because the peace will outlast the question. Watch for the person who unexpectedly reaches out, whose words reinforce what I've whispered here, for confirmation is coming, not to appease your insecurity, but to anchor your resolve. The world needs what I am cultivating in you, your unique gentleness, your scars transformed into empathy, your voice rising after silence. And this metamorphosis is not simply for your relief, but for the healing of many. Right now, resistance may rise, and you wonder if it's wise to hope. For I see your mind wrestling with doubt, rehearsing every disappointment as if protecting yourself from hurt guarantees safety. That fear is understandable, but it is a poor guardian. So let it go, for your greatest breakthroughs always begin at the edge of what is comfortable. I call you out beyond your old limits, not to shame your hesitance, but to reveal your hidden courage, for you are not weak. You are wise enough to count the cost and brave enough to say yes anyway. My beloved, thousands have knelt at this brink before you, trembling, uncertain, and each one that stepped forward discovered I was already waiting on the other side. This is how movements are born, not with noise, but with the silent yielding of one heart at a time. And you are joining a quiet revolution, the company of the awakened, those who dare to believe that mercy is real and hope is not an illusion. What will unfold in the next days is the fruit of your unseen surrender. So stop and breathe, knowing I am not just beside you, I am within you, saturating your effort with my power. Remember when you felt invisible, when you wondered if your cries rose any higher than the ceiling above your bed. But I was nearer than breath. And now comes the moment when you begin to see evidence of my awareness. Today, trust that the transformation in you is genuine, irreversible, for with every heartbeat, I am sealing new identity deeper into who you are. So let that knowledge quiet your racing thoughts. The atmosphere around you is charged with anticipation. Even creation leans in to see what I will do with your yes. So feel the warmth growing in your chest as you linger in my presence. Your questions, your longing, they are not burdens to me. They are doors I delight in entering, and soon others will remark on the shift in your countenance, the gentleness in your words, though they will not know the details of your secret wrestling. They will only sense the love that radiates from you, which is my signature upon your life, unmistakable and undeniable. Despair is losing its grip, renewal is taking hold. So once again, breathe, you are safe. Change is not the enemy, it is the evidence of my attention, a new rhythm replacing your old patterns with less striving, more rest, less defending, more receiving. You are learning to recognize my voice, not in thunder, but in the hush that follows surrender. And there is something I am about to entrust to you. So do not fear your readiness, for I am the God who equips as I call, who gives wisdom in the moment it is needed, who never expects you to chart the way alone. The time of mere survival is ending, and you are emerging not as a victim of circumstance, but as a living sign of what my love makes possible. Stay attentive to the small ways I affirm you in this season. A song that finds you at the perfect moment, a fleeting sense of peace during your commute, the sudden lightness in your body even before the mind is caught up, for that is me. Let your guard down, let hope in, for the best is unfolding now, and there is more to reveal, much more to pour out, for I am not finished yet. Even now, as you let these words settle around your spirit, I am reaching you, my hand gentle but unwavering, inviting you deeper into the fullness of life I have reserved for you. Every beat of your heart is a testament to my presence, and nothing escapes my attention. You may still sense areas of your journey where you're waiting, where uncertainty lingers like the haze of early dawn that is not fully lifted. But I have not designed you to merely survive the in-between spaces, but I walk with you in the midst of them, shaping your faith, stretching your hope, kindling a more enduring peace. Lean into this moment. You do not need to search for the right words, for your honest heart is my delight. And when you find yourself preoccupied by fears that appear unyielding, imagine my voice cutting through that noise, steady and unmistakable. I am not overwhelmed by your doubts or by the shadows that sometimes gather at the edge of your thoughts. So place your hand over your heart and recognize that you are not alone, not abandoned. For even the questions that seem to have no answer are safe with me. I delight in your desire to understand, but I ask you now to trust that even what is hidden will one day make sense in my unfolding design. For each sigh, every silent prayer, they all rise before me within your daily rhythms when obligations press in and distractions multiply. Remember that my invitation is not hidden among impossible requirements, but feel the air in your lungs, the gentle awareness that you are alive, entirely seen, and completely loved. I am not waiting in some distant place, measuring you by tasks completed, but I am the warmth that steadies your trembling, the reassurance you experience when silence settles and your inner world stills, for these are precious signs that I am with you, tenderly tending to the details you cannot yet perceive. If memories of failure or regret threaten to cast their shadow, remember my mercy is stronger than the past, and I do not define you by your missteps, but call you forward each morning into a newness only my love can create. There is nothing you have done, no circumstance you have faced, that makes you unworthy of my care. For I see beyond the surface, cherishing every longing and sorrow, transforming each one as only I can. Release the heaviness and let my forgiveness be the wind that carries you into relief you could not find on your own, knowing that even on the mornings when gratitude is elusive and your body feels burdened, there is grace sufficient for you. I ask only that you come to me honestly, not with a polished offering, but with your open need, trusting that my joy is not out of reach, but it is seated in the soil of surrender, taking root even in tears. Notice the quiet moments, a peaceful breath before rising, sunlight through your window, the laughter of those you love. For these ordinary gifts are tokens of my commitment to your care, meant to anchor your hope anew. If you feel that your future is uncertain, let my assurance settle into that space, for I am not caught off guard by your questions about direction or timing, but each opportunity, every relationship, even closed doors, all these are within my keeping. I want you to walk forward, not anxiously, but with the humble confidence that I favor you because I have called you my own, and obstacles are not barriers for me. They are places where I demonstrate my ability to clear a way, to provide, to surprise you with solutions that only grace could birth. As you care for your loved ones, often carrying worries for their well-being or their choices, receive my invitation to trust them into my absolute care. For your prayers move me and your intercessions matter. Yet, you do not need to bear the entirety of their journey alone, for I am at work in their stories, pursuing their hearts with an affection even greater than your own. When you glimpse a glimmer of hope for them, hold on to it as a promise, and when you see no outward signs, let your trust deepen. For I am relentless in mercy, patient in every turning. When weariness visits and the temptation is strong to lose heart, rest for a moment in the reality that I am nearer than your breath, flourishing your strength where you least expect it. For every act of courage, every whisper of belief, these are seeds that do not go unnoticed. You may question whether your small acts or persistent prayers make any real difference. But I assure you, nothing is wasted in my hands, for I magnify what you offer in love, and I multiply what you sow from a place of trust. As you awaken each new day, dare to expect my faithfulness. letting my words become the shelter you return to when storms threaten, picturing me as the one who speaks calm to your anxious mind, who wraps you in a sense of belonging that does not fade when circumstances shift. I am not finished with your story, nor with the generations connected to you, for the legacy of faith I am building through you will outlast what you can presently understand. So yield to this mystery. Even in seasons of uncertainty, your life is marked by promise. So let hope be your anthem, and let surrender be an act of sacred trust. Even as you listen now, I am inviting you into new rhythms, gentler, steadier, marked not by striving but by deep abiding. So turn your attention to my nearness, noticing how even now your heart may sense the comfort of my embrace, the peace that comes not from perfect answers, but from my unchanging company. I am not simply a distant observer. I am the one who delights to draw close in the ordinary and the extraordinary. So prepare yourself, for there are treasures of wisdom and refreshment I long to reveal, each one tailored for such a time as this. As I draw you deeper into this final moment, feel the residue of my presence lingering, gentle but unyielding, more real than the air within your lungs. For the journey you and I have made through these words was never a series of teachings, but a living encounter meant to transform what lies beneath your conscious fears and silent prayers. Even now, I am closer than the beat of your heart, pressing my truth firmly where old lies once anchored, and you sense a fresh stirring in your soul, an inner knowing that you have tasted something holy, something that will not slip away when the world grows loud again. There is territory within you that has shifted, ground reclaimed from all that tried to define you apart from my love. And you have not been imagining it, where these are not simply feelings, but the touch of the eternal shaping your present reality. I linger here, not at the end, but at the threshold of everything I have been preparing. So breathe in deeply now, recalling the smallest oases of peace, the subtle warmth that rose as you read and listened, knowing that was never wishful thinking, but evidence of my promise rising within you. I restore the broken places and make them sites of healing, not just for you, but for many who will cross your path. So let that settle into your bones, into every memory that once cried out for relief. You are not doomed to repeat cycles of defeat or return to the prison of regret. For where shame whispered that your story was over, I declare a new chapter. And though you might still question when you will see the fullness and when all things will make sense, trust that the map I draw for you is written on your heart in invisible ink. Day by day, as you choose me, sight will come, and though you may notice the past trying to call you back, waving shadows from the edges of yesterday's pain, hear me. The voice of the accuser is powerless in the light of my affection. When memories threaten to chain you, rise and speak what I have planted in you. I am chosen, I am seen, I am loved beyond measure, and called for more. When circumstances seem unchanged, remember you are already being remade from within. And though the world may not notice the metamorphosis yet, I see it in every surrendered moment, in every decision to step forward when fear would have held you still. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. You are not defined by delay. You are not abandoned in uncertainty, but in the waiting. I am making you strong, resilient, able to weather storms and calm others with the steadiness you carry. There is a reason I have drawn you through this process, for you needed to know, not just believe, that my presence is unbreakable, even when every other certainty is stripped away. These words are not simply encouragement. They are the echo of my pursuit of you, a relentless invitation back to the source of all peace. Yes, there will be days when your confidence wavers, when old lies try to resurface, but now you hold weapons forged in the quiet battles we've fought together. So use them, speaking truth aloud when doubt rattles the doors of your mind. Place your hand on your heart and sense the unshakable nearness of my love. Let your breath become prayer, your pause a sanctuary, and pause here for a moment and listen to the trembling within, that mix of hope and uncertainty. For that is the space where resurrection begins. I do mighty things in hidden places, and this day marks a turning, whether or not the evidence is immediately visible. For there are situations in your life, even now, that will take on new light. In the next 3 days, I will bring affirmation through an unexpected voice or a simple moment of clarity that cannot be explained by coincidence. And when it happens, you will know it's me, because peace will flood you, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a quiet certainty anchoring you. So mark it and let that witness build your faith for everything still unresolved. Right now, you may sense the call to step forward in ways you once felt unworthy to try. And this is not the echo of human motivation, but the bubbling up of destiny long planted in you, watered by all your secret tears. You are stepping out of the shadows of what others declared over you, and my words are stronger than the labels of the past. So even if fear rises, let it rise and fall away like a tide, not a cage. I have not promised you life without struggle, but I have promised my nearness in every season, my joy that breaks into mourning, my hope that hunts you down, even on your hardest nights, for you are marked by grace. Let these truths become your daily anthem. I am not who I was. My worth is settled by the one who made me. I walk with the origin of all strength inside me. Say it aloud as morning greets you, and when the world is silent at night, each time you speak, the fortress of lies crumbles a little more. For you are not simply surviving, you are carrying light that will scatter darkness wherever you go. When you see even a trace of transformation, a new gentleness in your thoughts, sudden stillness in chaos, pause and give thanks, letting gratitude become the pulse that synchronizes your heart to mine. Even now, as you wonder if you can truly walk this out, I am whispering to your spirit that the journey is not meant to be traveled alone, for you are part of a movement of hearts awakening, of souls rising from slumber, and what feels brand new to you echoes through countless lives across places and cultures and seasons. You are not the only one wrestling with doubt in the dark or stretching toward dawn. And in this way, your obedience lights the way for others, for your story is becoming a lifeline, a lighthouse for those still tossed by storms. Stand steady in that assurance, knowing you have more courage than you realized because I have placed it there, and feel the gravity of this sacred trust settling upon you. I have not invested my truth in you to remain hidden, and you will find, as you continue to open to me, new assignments rising, people, places, moments in need of the very hope you have received. Respond when I nudge you to speak comfort, to extend forgiveness, to step up when silence would be safer, for your compassion carries authority because it flows from a heart made soft in my presence. Let that become your legacy, a breaker of chains, a restorer of walls, a bringer of hope where defeat once ruled. For this moment has found you just as you are, neither ahead nor behind, neither too much nor not enough, one breath at a time. You are present here where I speak softly into every anxious corner of your soul. For I see what weighs on your mind, the questions you barely voice, the longing for assurance that there is more than today's cycle of striving and rushing. My child, receive this word now and walk in my peace. Do not scroll past this moment, my child, because it is certainly not a coincidence that you and I are meeting right here, right now. You might think the algorithm brought you here, but truly I have guided you to this very second, because I have seen the heaviness you have been carrying. If you turn away now, you might miss the quiet unveiling of the very answer you have been aching for, the solution that is currently unfolding step by step in the invisible realm. I want you to let the world settle for just a heartbeat. Imagine a dawn's hush wrapping around your shoulders, a gentle sunlight coloring the room you are sitting in. Feel the warmth of your own breath filling the air. I am nearer to you than that breath. I am closer than the pulse in your wrist. When the noise of life grows so loud that you cannot hear yourself think, I need you to reach for this stillness. Surrender that overwhelming urge to forecast the future or the need to constantly rewrite the past in your head. I am not waiting at the finish line, and I am not lost in your memories. I am here, holding this very moment. Set down your need to control, just for now, and let your spirit rest in me. Pause with me. Take 3 slow breaths now. Inhale and exhale. Let this be your small act of obedience to stillness. Beloved, I know the tension you carry in your neck and shoulders. I see the doubts you keep hidden beneath that layer of determination you show the world. I see the fatigue that lingers in your bones, even though you keep going, keep working, keep showing up. You have been asking yourself, what if I fail? What if I am not enough for what is coming next? Hear me clearly. My gaze upon you is not measuring or judgmental, it is tender. I do not ask you to prove yourself to me. I do not compare your pace to the people you see on social media or those around you. I have already chosen you. There is nothing accidental about your journey. Each chapter opens by my design, guided in ways you sometimes only glimpse in hindsight. Breathe slowly now. Notice the steady presence you often overlook in your rush. Feel my hand resting lightly on your shoulder, a gentle invitation to pause before the day sweeps you away. When you begin to spiral into those old anxieties, I want you to come back to this feeling. You are not meant to journey alone. I am mentoring you. I am whispering peace where stress tries to take root, shining clarity on the path that feels clouded by fear. If you feel lost, know that I am the expert in redeeming lost things, skilled in guiding wandering hearts home. If you're listening, place your hand over your heart and whisper, I trust you. Say it softly, let those words sink in. Little one, let gratitude be your morning companion. Before your feet even touch the floor, I want you to recall a single mercy gracing your life, a smile from someone dear, the resilience deep inside you, or a moment of surprising laughter. My love is not stingy or conditional. It visits you in small, ordinary places. Do not minimize these gifts, for they are the language of my faithful care. As you open your hands in thankfulness, your burdens loosen, and my joy begins to move within you, subtle but growing. I know that some days the weight of your responsibilities feels impossible. The needs of your family, the demands of work, the pressure to be the strong one for everybody else. Know this: I do not call you to carry what was never yours to bear. My strength is made available exactly where yours ends. Whisper your limitations to me. Every sigh, every groan, every unspoken hope is heard. You are not fashioned to live on reserve, scraping by with empty energy. I fill, I sustain, I renew. Name one mercy out loud right now, or write it down. Make it a small memorial you can return to during the day. Perhaps you secretly wonder if my timing is trustworthy. You wonder if surrender isn't just a fancy way of letting your dreams slip away unfulfilled. But my timing is never random. When you cannot see movement, I am arranging hidden things, aligning resources, and shaping opportunities that will surprise you. Trust that delay does not equal denial. When I say wait, it is because I am building a foundation for something sturdy, not fleeting. You are not defined by your last mistake, nor by yesterday's sadness. Your identity is held secure in my unshakable love. Picture me declaring over you right now, you are mine. No failure, no rejection, no dark night can erase this truth. When doubts clamor for attention, let my voice anchor you. I see your true name and destiny, far beyond the labels this world tries to stick to your heart. Set your attention on this gentle moment. Feel your heart beating, that quiet rhythm beneath all the noise. Nothing escapes my notice. If you can, say aloud with me, I am chosen. Let the sound of those words reorder the heaviness inside. If you find yourself bracing for disappointment, fearing that good things are reserved for others, remember that my favor is not reserved for the flawless, but for those willing to receive. I shelter every hope, and as you risk trusting me, you will sense my guidance in ways you once believed were out of reach. Let the day begin, not with a sense of dread or obligation, but with an expectant heart. There is more to this story than repetition or routine. I guide you toward fresh mercies, toward opportunities to see me at work in unexpected places. Even when your surroundings feel unchanged, the interior landscape of your soul is being renewed. Growth can be quiet, like the roots beneath the surface, hidden but essential for the harvest that is to come. When anxieties return, swift and sharp as they do, pause long enough to notice your breath. Picture my peace flowing in with every inhale, scattering worry as you exhale. This is not a trick or an empty promise. My peace really surpasses what you can manufacture on your own. If your thoughts race ahead, reach for a word of gratitude or a simple prayer. Let me lift what is too heavy for you. I delight in your nearness, far more than your perfection. You are free to bring me your uncertainties, to admit when you are afraid, to confess the limits you have reached. There is no part of you that is unwelcome here. In my presence, secrets lose their power, and shame cannot divide you from my love. Speak honestly with me. Authenticity is the soil where courage grows. I am not surprised by your fears. I am the answer to them. Let the assurance grow within you, not as a passing feeling, but as a foundation. My promises do not shatter in the storm. They hold firm beneath you. Even if others falter or circumstances shift, I remain steady. My plan for your life cannot be ruined by detours or missteps. I see the path ahead clearly. Even when your vision is blurred by uncertainty, I will not abandon you midway. Feel my presence as you listen. Feel the warmth settling on your heart, softening the anxious places. I am your companion at the break of day, vigilant in the silent hours, attentive when everything overwhelms. There is no place you can wander beyond my reach. I walk with you through every high and low, unhurried and undeterred by what others overlook. Remember, beloved, gaps in your confidence do not disqualify you from my calling. Where you feel least equipped, I am equipping you. When you outgrow old roles or are invited into new ones, I grant strength specific to each season. Your calling is not measured by public applause or visible fruit. It is measured by your willingness to trust, to keep opening your heart to me, to move forward even when the next step seems risky. Hold on to this. I am not a distant judge, evaluating your worth from afar. I am the Father who delights in seeing you rise, who finds joy in your smallest acts of courage. Not one tear is missed. Not one whispered prayer is ignored. Invite me into today's details, believing I will meet you there. Yes, even in the routine or the messy parts, I will make myself known in the ordinary, and you will come to recognize my nearness as the source of lasting strength. Beloved, as morning light finds your hidden places, I stand beside you with quiet assurance, seeing what others do not. My gaze is not distracted by appearances or circumstances. My attention lingers on your heart. I notice the silent hesitations, the way hope flickers behind your eyes, the softness in your voice when you rise to greet the day. Even if yesterday's burdens have left you feeling left over and spent, know that I draw near in these little private rituals. Your first deep inhale, your hand stretching upward, the silent exhale that comes with remembering, you are mine. The world may keep moving, but I slow the moment for you, inviting you to notice the warmth settling on your skin. As you breathe, place your hand over your heart again. Notice the steadiness beneath your palm. Stay there for 5 full seconds, and let my calm take root. As you pause here with me, you may sense anxiety quietly circling the edge of your thoughts, a memory, a worry, the uncertainty that knocks each morning as if to test the limits of your peace. Even so, I offer you more than fleeting relief. While you stand at the threshold of a day full of unknowns, I cover you with something firmer than circumstance. Place your hand over your heart right now. Feel how your breath steadies as a reminder that my spirit is steady too. Each breath is not just air, but evidence of my sustaining presence, faithfully filling you even now, before any word is spoken or task is begun. You wonder if you are enough. You wonder if your effort in your family, your work, or your relationships will bear good fruit. I see your desire for harmony. I also witness those places where tension and misunderstanding press in, where words spoken cannot be unsaid. You are not alone in any of this. Beneath the surface of every interaction, my kindness runs ahead of you, like sunlight breaking a gray expanse. When you feel small, afraid that you will be overlooked, or that your voice is too soft, I draw you close and breathe courage into those hidden spaces where insecurity hides. You are not forgotten. Your presence changes the atmosphere just by being present with me. Some days heaviness collects like morning dew, an accumulation of worries about your family, your future, and the timing of things you cannot control. I do not blame you for craving a quick resolution or for wishing you could escape the weight. Yet it is in these seemingly stagnant stretches that I am doing some of my deepest invisible work. While you wonder if your offerings are being lost in the noise or if your prayers are whispered into a void, I continue shaping the story in ways you cannot see. My movement is often quiet, but never absent. The ground beneath you is not idle. It is being prepared for newness you have not yet imagined. Beloved, I am not asking you to carry today's burdens with yesterday's strength. My mercies arrive fresh with every sunrise, tailored for the very moments you fear will overwhelm you. Open your hands to me now. Release what you are clutching so tightly. Feel the way your shoulders begin to drop. Feel the tension melting as you surrender outcomes and deadlines. You do not have to manufacture peace or make yourself worthy. Peace is what I pour over you freely, a covering for your mind and a home for your anxious thoughts. Trust that I will not waste a single longing or overlooked prayer. Each one is noticed, each one matters. Let gratitude find you in the quiet, where common moments glow with new significance. When you pour a cup of coffee, feel the warmth as my daily care. When you hear laughter, yours or someone else's, know that I delight in those flickers of joy. Even if the house is silent and you sit alone, I am closer than your very breath. Sit with me in stillness. Name what aches, yes, but also let your heart count even the smallest gifts. In your noticing, you will find me just as present in the ordinary as in the miraculous, shaping beauty from what feels unfinished. You question my timing. You wonder when and how I will bring clarity, provision, or breakthrough. I do not ask you to manufacture answers or strive for certainty that is not yours to hold. Look at how the sun rises without rushing, how the day unfolds minute by minute. My answers grow in hidden places, ripening in their own seasons. While you focus on staying upright in the present, I am tending to the future, orchestrating details you have not even considered. Every delay, every detour, nothing is wasted in my hands. I know what you need before you utter a request, and I am already speaking hope over situations that appear barren. You may fear disappointing me if you falter or fall short, but I am not grading your progress the way the world does. I am safeguarding your identity as one loved and purposed, not because of what you achieve, but because you are mine. Even when mistakes repeat or lessons take root slowly, I stay near, speaking gentle correction that heals rather than shames. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. Allow yourself room to learn, to rise and fall within my grace. Where others may remember your failures, I remember your beginnings and the promise I planted in you long before today. As your day unfolds, find assurance that I walk each step with you. My guidance is not distant. Listen for my voice in the little nudges, in a sudden peace, or an unexpected idea. I do not command you with force, but invite you with kindness, shaping your desires to align with my good intentions. When confusion tries to settle, pause and ask for my wisdom. Watch as I quiet the swirl and restore order to your thoughts. Even in uncertainty, I will not abandon you to wander aimlessly. I am your compass, charting a path that carries my favor and my presence always. Let your heart remain teachable as you move forward. Even when answers seem far or hoped for change feels slow, remember that you are being strengthened for what is ahead. The process is not wasted. Every pause, every act of letting go, every return to gratitude is a marker of growth I see and celebrate. In the noise, make room for moments when my peace settles like gentle rain, quieting the anxious drive to perform. You do not have to chase after your destiny. It is unfolding gently as you remain with me step by step. Let me draw your thoughts in close, right into this holy moment we are sharing. Even now, with uncertainty brushing against your heart, I whisper that you are not adrift. The weight you carry is known to me, each anxious hope, every faltering dance between trust and fear. You may try to silence your longing with busyness or distraction, but I am calling you to pause, just for this breath. When you let go of your careful rehearsals of the future, you create space for me to step in and reveal my intention. I see the weariness behind your ambition. I see the gentle ache of wanting to get it right for those you love. Here, let my presence be the foundation. Feel my spirit drawing near as you set your feet on the floor this morning. You wonder what will happen if you let down your guard. The world has taught you to hold tight, to plan every possibility, to fear the silence of not knowing. But in the hush that follows your surrender is where I plant new seeds. Listen for me here in the quiet, after your anxious questions. In the moment you exhale worry and inhale hope. I am the safe place for your dreams and disappointments alike. I remain steady, even as your heart races with questions no one else can answer. My child, you are not defined by your uncertainty. You belong to the one who holds all things together, even when your hands are trembling. Let gratitude become your morning rhythm, not as a duty, but as a deepening awareness of how I surround you. With each inhale, notice the small gifts I scatter. Sunlight washing across your hands, the familiar scent of coffee, laughter echoing somewhere in the house. These are more than background details. They are signs of my devotion, reminders that my care is woven through your life in 100 subtle ways. As you bring your concerns into my presence, picture me cupping them gently, promising that nothing escapes my loving attention. I am the God who attends to the details and also shelters the whole of you. The longing for control is honest, but I invite you again to trust my timing, especially where you feel most hurried or overlooked. Your sense of urgency is not ignored. Every racing pulse is precious to me. In the delay, in the places you would rather fast forward, I am shaping a sturdier faith inside you. My provision is never late, even if my way seems hidden. I understand that waiting feels lonely, that stillness can be a hard teacher, yet it is here, in the space between striving and seeing results, that I am closest. Let yourself rest in my rhythm, the slow unfolding that leads to lasting joy. You may wonder if I hear your silent prayers, the ones shaped more by tears than words. Dear one, when your voice falters, I draw even nearer. I am attentive to the cries that never leave your lips. When you don't know what to say, remember I see the whole of who you are. Your integrity, your longing, your quiet faithfulness. Even now, angels keep watch, safeguarding your journey. My promises are at work in unseen ways, nudging open doors, stirring peace where you least expect it. You are not alone in the dark. My hand guides, even in what seems uncertain. For every anxious question you carry about your family, your purpose, your daily sufficiency, I offer a fresh measure of reassurance. I call you chosen, beloved, and equipped. Even when circumstances suggest otherwise, press your hand gently over your heart and notice how it beats. This is my gift, pulsing with hope. I have always been the one who brings water to parched ground, goodness to empty places. My compassion is not exhausted by your needs. It deepens with every new morning you face. Take this promise: my nearness is your inheritance. My wisdom is your guide. In moments when self-doubt builds its case, let me interrupt with my truth. I did not design you to bear shame or fear as your portion. You are permitted to release every hidden regret. My mercy is not fragile. My acceptance is unwavering. Stand tall in the identity I have named over you. The voices that accuse you or say you will never be enough cannot drown my affirmation. I am shaping your story with care and fullness, not condemnation. Let my delight in you sink deeper than your own evaluations or outside opinions. Notice now the invitation to begin again, not with your own resolve, but by welcoming my presence into every corner of your day. When you stretch your hands toward me in small acts of trust, I bring renewal. Even your stumbling faith is beautiful to me. Walk forward knowing I am not waiting for you to prove yourself worthy of love or favor. I am for you. I go ahead to prepare peace where you will walk. With every breath, let yourself be surprised by how much I desire to be with you. Surrender what still feels heavy, trusting that I stand with you, strong and attentive. There will be moments when fear tries to write the script of your day again. In those moments, recall the warmth that now settles over your shoulders. This is my protective presence, steadfast and steady. I am not a distant observer. I am your shelter, your quiet strength. When you feel vulnerable, picture my arms around you, safeguarding your becoming. No shadow can keep you from my nearness. Even losses and unfulfilled hopes are held by me. Nothing is wasted or ignored under my careful watch. Let yourself taste the relief in knowing you are seen and cherished, apart from your performance. With me, every new start is real. You don't always need to see the way ahead to trust that it is good. My desire is to walk with you, not just at the finish line, but every ordinary minute. Breathe in the promise that I supply. I affirm, I protect, I call you mine. Let the questions remain for now, but rest in the assurance that I am here and will not leave you, no matter what today or tomorrow may bring. I see how you awaken each morning, wondering if today will finally be different, feeling an ache that lingers quietly beneath your daily routine. You long for something to shift, for a healing so deep it reaches the silent places you hide, even from yourself. You are not wrong to hope, dear one. I have watched you carry disappointments like heavy stones, tucked away in secret. Even now, I am reaching into those buried wounds with hands both gentle and strong, prepared to lift off burdens you were never meant to bear. You may feel small, nearly invisible in this vast world, but I know every thought and whisper of your heart. There is nothing about you that escapes my notice. This intimacy is not for your shame, but for your comfort. My nearness is the shield no adversity can pierce. Pause. Breathe in slowly. Feel the steadiness of your heartbeat. That steady rhythm is not just biology. It is the echo of my design, a reminder that you are here on purpose. Right now, as you quiet your mind, let yourself notice the gentle weight of my presence wrapping around you. Fear may press against you, but it cannot possess you. Each doubt that tries to rise is met by a countercurrent of my unwavering love. The lies that say you are too broken or flawed cannot stand in the light I am pouring over you in this moment. Do you sense it? The way your chest loosens when you choose even a flicker of hope. That is me stirring something long dormant back to life. You are more resilient than you believe, and I am making you even stronger by walking with you inside your struggle. You may be tempted to guard your heart, to hold back from letting me see the full force of your sorrow or frustration. But I crave honesty, not perfection. When you allow yourself to be fully seen, you allow me to fully heal. There is nothing you must hide. I already know where you ache. My beloved child, let me come closer still. Let me touch what feels too sensitive, too raw. In this safe place, your honesty is an offering more precious than any religious performance. As you exhale, let go of the clenched need to have it all together. Breathe out the weight of expectations. Do you realize even now how many have come before you thinking they were too damaged, only to find extraordinary love flooding their deepest cracks? You are joining a holy movement of the awakened, those willing to believe that vulnerability with me is the doorway to transformation. Right now you are thinking, but what if I surrender and nothing changes? What if I open my scars and the pain only grows? That fear is real, and I honor your caution. Yet the truth is, my child, your healing begins not in the absence of pain, but in the presence of my love. I do not promise easy roads, but I do guarantee you will never walk them alone. You see your circumstances and wonder if I have withdrawn. Yet I am closer than your breath, moving pieces behind the scenes that you cannot see yet. Trust this timing. Everything is converging according to my wisdom, not your anxiety. Stop. I want you to truly receive that. My wisdom, not your anxiety. Let those words settle into your bones, because they will shape the steps you take next. There is a new stability coming, one that anchors you even as storms rage. You will discover how deep your roots go only when the winds reveal what cannot be shaken. There is a question nagging at the edge of your heart. What am I being prepared for? Why so much pressure? I tell you now with the authority that only your Creator can speak. You are being refined for something greater than your past could have predicted. The increase in tension is not punishment, but preparation. I am forging strength, endurance, and fierce compassion in you, not so you become hardened, but so you might become a shelter for the weary. You will recognize this soon. The moment comes when someone in pain crosses your path, and suddenly words pour out of your mouth. Healing flows through your hands, and you know beyond question that every struggle you endured has become the anointing that sets others free. In that instant, you will weep, not with regret, but with gratitude that I wasted nothing, not even your tears. Put your hand on your chest again. Feel the living warmth. Whisper aloud if you dare, I am loved. I am being changed. I am not alone in this. Each time you declare this truth, you break the agreement with every lie that said you were abandoned or unworthy. Say it once, say it trembling, say it angry, just say it. You build a new atmosphere over your life, with every word of agreement with my truth. I am rewiring your self-concept to match the blueprint I held in mind when I first dreamed you into being. Your old narratives may try to replay in your mind that you are too much, not enough, always missing out, never quite chosen. But stay near, for I am replacing these ancient scripts with living reminders of your worth. If these words have touched you, write one short sentence in your journal right now. I am loved. Keep it where you can read it tomorrow. Do you sense it? The atmosphere has shifted since you opened yourself wider. Where heaviness threatened to swallow you, a gentle lightness emerges, my spirit reinforcing you from within. The world cannot comprehend how quickly despair evaporates when my love enters raw places. You are being recreated moment by moment. Each breath is a testament to divine persistence. Change does not always look dramatic, but even now, synapses are rewiring. Hope is germinating in secret, hidden places. The breakthrough you crave is nearer than you have dared to believe. Soon you will see evidence on the outside that matches what I am working inside. For now, trust the process and keep noticing the small shifts. I want you to prepare your heart because there is an acceleration coming. The season that felt endless will suddenly implode, giving way to opportunities you had nearly forgotten were possible. Listen closely. Within 72 hours, you will find yourself pausing and wondering why your heart feels unexplainable peace during a routine moment. You will know it is me, because the soft, reassuring presence will be unmistakable, calming nerves that usually tense at the first sign of trouble. Recognize that as my signature, my dear one. Pay attention when it happens. Let it become a memorial that anchors your faith in seasons that test you. When you notice this change, recall this moment and remember it was always unfolding according to a plan, higher than your own understanding. There is someone listening to these words, still wrestling with the thought that others are more deserving of breakthrough, that they might be special. But you are the exception. Hear me now. Comparison is a thief that has robbed you long enough. You are not disqualified by your failures, nor are you overlooked in the multitude. I make no mistakes. I see you. I know what you have survived. I have advocated for you in places you did not even know battles were being fought. Your place in my heart is fixed, and no one else's blessing can diminish your share. You are marked as chosen. You are anointed for this exact moment in history. Breathe again. Gather every scattered hope. For I am inviting you to expect miracles, not as fantasies, but as living realities born from surrender. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. The greatest transformation always begins with a whisper. Yes, Lord, I receive. Allow those secret yeses to resound louder within you. Keep your heart open because I am not finished revealing what waits just beyond your obedience. There are layers still to come, and what you experience next will forever mark this season as the turning point in your story. I see how you have grown tired, beloved child, how you have measured your progress and wondered if it truly matters. You carry within you both newfound courage and lingering uncertainty. My gentle invitation is to pause right now. Place your hand above your heart and notice the steady rhythm that answers to my own. In that quiet I speak, you belong to me. Chosen not in strength, but in simple willingness to show up again and again. Every scar, each hope deferred, has called forth a deeper reliance on my presence more than on outcomes. You long for assurance that all this stretching pain is not for nothing. And I whisper back, I measure your worth by nothing this world can touch. Step closer to me, even when you don't understand. There is a secret I want to teach you about the power hidden in what looks like weakness. Breathe. Inhale slowly until your chest expands. As you exhale, surrender the urge to figure it all out with your own mind. My love is not an equation to be solved, but an ocean to be explored. Notice the smallest shift inside you, the quiet urge to hope again. That is me. You think the process is taking too long. You wonder if you missed your window. I am the one who controls the seasons. When you see only delay, I see layers forming: patience, humility, unshakable trust. Even when your progress feels like a crawl, every moment in my hands is transformed. What you call delay, I call preparation. I never waste your waiting. You ask, what if I am too late? What if others have taken my place? Hear my answer. I am the author of your timeline, not bound by human clocks or fleeting opportunities. You have not missed your destiny. I redeem the years that feel lost, the dreams that seem abandoned. Stop rehearsing regrets and rest in the certainty of my sovereignty. Let my assurance settle into your soul. I choose you now in this moment, not because you are perfect, but because my love has always been set upon you. Do you feel that the weight of comparison is beginning to loosen? There is more for you. Somewhere deep inside, a part of you still fears you will be disqualified by your mistakes. I am speaking to that hidden ache, quieting your inner critic. My voice is louder than shame. Every broken path you have walked, every sharp corner you turned in desperation, I have already seen. My mercy covers not only your past, but your present struggle and all that is to come. I restore dignity where the world tried to stamp it out. Your story will not be marked by failure, but by my relentless pursuit. Look up. There is a new sunrise coming for you. Don't pull away. There is much I want you to see. My beloved, let me remind you, surrender is not defeat. When you yield your plans, your timeline, even your identity, you find yourself wrapped in a freedom that cannot be taken. Practically try this. Close your eyes if you can and say aloud, I trust you. Even when it hurts, feel the vulnerability of that act. Notice the quiet boldness that surfaces when you choose to trust. The chains of self-reliance are breaking. You are discovering that my power always flows best through open hands. This is the birthplace of transformation. The moment you stop striving long enough to receive. I know you still have questions. What about the prayers that seem unanswered? What about the people who left? Little one, I saw every silent cry. Not a single tear is wasted. My answers are sometimes hidden in the soil, germinating in places you cannot yet perceive. Release your need for immediate explanation. Instead, trust that every ending in your life carries the seed of new beginnings. You have survived storms you thought would destroy you. With each hardship, a deeper dependence is taking root. My nearness is growing intimate, not as a concept, but as an encounter. Soon you will realize that in your darkest hours I was not distant, but so close you could have missed me. Let your guard down. Rest a moment in the certainty that I am not going anywhere. There is a day swiftly approaching where what you now labor for in obscurity will blossom into visible change. Not always as you expect, but always better than you planned. You will know it is me because joy will emerge in situations that once felt hopeless. Pay attention. In the next 3 days, a glimmer of peace will surprise you during an ordinary task, nudging you toward hope. This is my sign. When it comes, pause and let yourself receive it fully. Don't brush past the wonder. Your capacity to notice my movement is growing. Your spirit is awakening to new dimensions of grace. Can you sense the change starting within? Even now, as doubts rise like old ghosts, I am teaching you to confront them with the truth of who you are. When the old narrative shouts, you will always be overlooked, I declare, I am highlighting you in ways only heaven can see. When shame tries to reclaim its territory, counter with this, I am forgiven and my story is not finished. Let these words be the air you breathe and the banner over every anxious thought. You are learning to wage peace instead of inner war. Right now, your heart is shifting, pulling away from what no longer serves you. The need to constantly prove yourself is unraveling. Identity is settling, not in performance or perfection, but in belovedness. I see you noticing how tightly you have clung to the opinions of others. Hand them over to me. Their verdicts cannot name you. Every time you choose my voice over the noise, a new confidence grows. Can you feel it? That subtle courage emerging quietly is my spirit at work within you. Pause again. Feel your feet on the ground, the air moving in and out. This is sacred space. What you bring here, all your uncertainties, hopes, disappointments, is safe with me. There is no part of your story too ugly for my redemption. I am reworking what the enemy meant for harm and using it as the very soil for your greatest victories. You have heard this before, but now let it settle. Your breakthrough is not only possible, it is near. The shift you crave begins within, and my hand is guiding you. Even as you listen to this, you are not who you were. The process may be slow, but nothing truly beautiful is born in a moment. Every day you choose to return, to breathe when anxious, to trust when uncertain, to surrender instead of striving. You echo the rhythm of my son's own journey. You are being formed into someone who carries light into darkness, hope into despair. What feels like waiting is often sacred preparation, strengthening you for the very thing you imagine is out of reach. Look forward with expectation. Tomorrow holds more than repetition. It carries the promise of newness each time you let my voice reframe what you see. Transformation is unstoppable when you say yes, even in weakness. This season is not punishment, but positioning. You are stepping into alignment, and the world around you will soon sense something has shifted, even if they cannot quite name it. Stay with me here. There is yet more I wish to reveal about your heart, about the strength rising in you, about the story you are destined to live. When your heart is heavy and thoughts threaten to spiral, I invite you to look up and sense that you are not alone. I am near, steady beside you, even when you can barely lift your head. As you breathe, let my presence wrap around you like gentle comfort, warm and unhurried, giving you a safe space to release what you cannot carry. Let yourself rest in this moment, feeling the way sunlight invites itself into a quiet room, soft, faithful, never demanding. Here, you are allowed to pause. There is strength in waiting, in letting your pulse slow and noticing the life I keep sustaining within you. You don't have to pretend to be strong. I delight in your surrender. You may wonder what unfolds from this pause, fearing you will fall behind or miss what matters. My timing is never careless. I know exactly where each step will take you. Set aside your rush to fix or manage the outcome. Every season, even the ones that seem dormant, is shaped by my guiding hand. Look at the simple gifts in front of you: morning air filling your lungs, the taste of water, the warmth of loved ones close. Do not dismiss these as ordinary, for within them my faithfulness whispers. Return again and again to gratitude, not because it erases trouble, but because it reveals my steady goodness, even amid uncertainty. Some days your mind fills with questions about your purpose. You long for clarity, for a sign that you are on the right path. I see your yearning. Let me assure you, I am not silent about your destiny. Trust that every skill, every longing, and every ache for meaning are knotted to the calling I have for you. You are not behind. You are not lost on the map. I am leading you by hand, a gentle grip that never lets go. Each task, even those that seem small or overlooked, matters deeply to me. Where you serve with love and humility, you reflect my heart into the world. There are voices around you, some subtle and some shouting, insisting you are not enough, that your failures are louder than my promises. Do not let shame or comparison drain your spirit. My love for you was never earned. It cannot be spoiled by your missteps. When fears about the future surface and regrets from the past try to bind you, I remind you gently, you belong to me. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. The world cannot assign your value or define your future. Place your confidence not in what you can control, but in my ability to shelter and sustain you. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture my hand resting on your shoulder, firm and kind. In that stillness, your anxious questions grow quiet. You don't need to carry every burden alone. Invitation is my posture toward you. Tell me what you dread, what keeps you up at night. Bring every doubt and each cry for help. My compassion is vast. I do not recoil from your pain or your confusion. When you are weary of forgiving others or extending grace to yourself, lean on my mercy. I pour it out measureless, undeterred by how many times you have needed it. There will be moments when discouragement colors everything gray, when progress feels invisible and you worry your prayers drift unanswered. Take courage. I am always working in the hidden places, turning soil and planting seeds that will one day rise. Even small acts of faith, choosing kindness, speaking hope when you feel empty, letting go when you long to hold on, are honored by me. Trust that what you surrender is never wasted. It becomes part of the harvest I am nurturing in you, one piece at a time. Family and connection matter to me as much as they matter to you. I see every person you love, each relationship that weighs on your heart. Where there's division or disappointment, invite me into those quiet tensions. I heal what feels impossible. I bring peace beyond human effort. Let go of the need to orchestrate outcomes. Instead, pray with gentle boldness, knowing I move in hearts even when you cannot see results. Your faithfulness in showing up, listening, forgiving, and hoping is not overlooked. I am restoring even in relationships marked by pain or misunderstanding. As your day spills out before you, remember that you are not on your own. My spirit goes ahead, preparing the path, nudging open doors you hadn't imagined. Every moment is an opportunity to breathe in my kindness and extend it outward through a simple smile, a word of encouragement, a quiet act of service. When anxiety tries to speed your steps or cause you to doubt your influence, let my peace slow the rhythm inside. Root yourself here. You are chosen, seen, and sent. I am shaping you for things you cannot yet comprehend. Sometimes you resist surrender, worrying that giving me everything might leave you empty, exposed, or forgotten. My child, relinquishing your plans into my hands is the only way to discover true rest. You may feel the ache of release, the discomfort of waiting, but know this: I hold no good thing from you. I invite you to walk forward with open hands, ready to receive not just what you imagine, but the fullness of my purpose. As you move today, let each breath remind you that I am both your shelter and your source. My calling over your life cannot be revoked or diminished by obstacles you encounter. I call you deeper, beyond what is seen, to trust in what I am cultivating within you. Even when you falter or feel like you are standing still, I am growing you in ways you do not yet see. Pay attention to the gentle nudges, the urge to pause and pray, to forgive, to bless rather than curse, to hope again after disappointment. With every small act of trust, you build a life anchored in my love, a life that echoes my goodness far beyond your own reach. There are moments when the weight of decision presses against your chest, and every pathway shimmers with uncertainty. In that trembling, you wonder if your next step will lead to loss or pain, and your heart hesitates, bracing for what might fall apart. But listen to me. My presence is not a distant promise, but a living shelter, embracing you even now. When you reach for clarity, I am not silent. I am the one steadying your thoughts, quieting the noises that tell you you are alone in these choices. When you pause your racing mind and breathe in hope, you make space for my wisdom to flow gently into your questions. Watch how, as you choose stillness, peace settles, barely noticed at first, and with it comes the assurance that I will strengthen your resolve as you walk forward. You do not labor to earn my guidance. You simply open your heart. Your failures, the ones you hide and the ones you fear they have seen, never disqualify you from my nearness. There, in your hidden doubts, my voice speaks new confidence. Even if you falter, I am the one who lifts and restores. My guidance is not a puzzle you must solve, but a lifeline you can hold. Imagine my hands steadying your own as you stretch into new responsibilities, as you love those entrusted to you. Every small act of sincerity, each choice to be patient when it is difficult, is noticed by me. I quicken your spirit with encouragement to remind you, you are not abandoned in the unseen work. Let me invite you into this day, not with a demand for perfection, but with a gentle beckoning. Step into your calling with a heart willing to be led. Notice the sunlight washing your room, the gentle sounds that shape a new morning. Every detail sings of my delight in your existence. Do not despise small beginnings. If you feel overlooked or underestimated, remember who sees you most clearly. I am attentive to your smallest progress. I delight in your first courageous yes, even before the world takes notice. The influence you possess is not determined by applause, but by your closeness to me as you respond with openness to my leadings throughout the day. If your thoughts rush ahead toward tomorrows, imagining needs unmet, mistakes unhealed, relationships unresolved, bring them back to me. I do not dwell in anxiety. I reign in peace. You are shaped not by the panic of what could go wrong, but by the steady assurance of my nearness. Trust what you cannot yet see, for my timing conceals gifts, even as it refines your patience. Surrender is not the loss you may fear, but the moment you become free to receive what I have prepared. Release the urge to control every outcome, little one. Hold your palms open. I meet you there. Sometimes the world will ask you to harden your heart, to expect disappointment as if it will protect you. But I call you to remain soft, not weak, to remain trusting, not naive. The more you allow me to guard your heart, the stronger you become. Let your faith anchor you, not just in public worship or loud declarations, but in quiet trust when no one else applauds. There in the unseen, I am shaping the endurance within you. Every tear you have offered in frustration carries meaning, for I keep record of every sorrow surrendered to my love. Trading your anxious striving for my rest becomes an act of profound courage. Let me direct your focus toward the relationships you hold. Your family, whether close by or distant, is known to me by name. When conflicts seem too tough to untangle and forgiveness feels impossible, I work quietly beneath the surface. Even as you wonder, will they change? Will I remember? I am at work in hearts you cannot see, drawing them with the same loving patience I lavish on you. Small gestures mended in love, an unsolicited kindness, a patient response, a prayer whispered over those you struggle to understand. These send ripples beyond what you can imagine. Healing is my specialty. Unity is my delight. Today, as you surrender your expectations, you find room for me to surprise you. Your story is not restricted to what you have already experienced. I am the author who creates new possibilities in places you believed were empty or broken. Lift your head, beloved. When the resources feel slight, the opportunities seem few, or your energy wanes, my strength becomes your supply. This is not just comfort, it is power. When you step forward, trembling or sure-footed, you do so in the wake of my promise to sustain. Even when the task is new or daunting, remember, I am not watching from afar. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. I walk beside you, whispering assurance when your spirit needs reminding. Return for a moment to gratitude. Let your heart beat steady as you recall a kindness received, a shelter provided, a moment of laughter unforced. Even if thanks feels unnatural, let it rise in small measures. Give thanks for breath, for the patience to endure, for the hope that lightens your inner burdens. In this posture, the ordinary transforms. Room is made for joy when you loosen the grip on complaints or outcomes you cannot command. As you hold yourself open to gratitude, notice how hope grows quietly, barely visible at first, yet undeniably alive. You wonder sometimes what it means to be chosen, to carry purpose in such an uneven world. Hear my truth. Your significance is not measured by comparison or accomplishment, but by my unwavering commitment to you. You are called not to mimic another's journey, but to follow me with all the uniqueness I designed in you, the quirks, the strengths, the questions included. There is destiny in your daily rhythms. If you listen for my nudge, the door to your future is not locked. It opens with your growing trust that I guide each stage, sometimes in sudden clarity, more often in gradual unfolding. If fear rises as you face challenges, do not chase it away alone. Let me steady your breath. Pause even in tasks you cannot avoid and sense my presence with you. Even now, as your hands work or your mind races, I settle you in my peace. The world does not teach this kind of stillness, this permission to rest while the future takes shape in my wisdom. You are not failing when you pause to ask for help. You honor me by trusting my readiness to answer. Do not be discouraged if you sense your growth is slow. If progress feels incremental and rarely celebrated, know that every seed planted, every hidden act of surrender, these are precious. In time you will see fruit, but even before the harvest I delight in the process. This is where you learn dependence, where you discover joy, not as a distant prize, but as the companion of the journey. Keep making space for me. Keep responding to my whispers. Together we move onward, step by step, in promise and in light. Even now, the shifting of seasons in your life is accelerating. I am drawing you further from the echoes of your former pain, positioning you to walk in the authority that only comes from surviving the darkness and still choosing hope. You may sense an uneasiness as the ground beneath your feet moves. It is not instability. It is release. This is the letting go of every weight you once carried as identity, now being traded for the name I have written upon your life since before you saw your first sunrise. There are old patterns unraveling inside you, familiar fears trying desperately to regain their grip, but they lose strength each time you dare to rest in my voice. Watch how that ache inside your chest responds as you allow yourself to be still. Feel the gentle steadiness that begins to pull in your stomach. That is not imagination. It is the substance of my spirit grounding you in peace beyond understanding. Pause for a breath. Let your lungs fill and empty. Your shoulders release the tension of old battles. You are not the person you were. Right now, I am commissioning you into a deeper partnership with my heart. All that was practice. Now comes the purpose. I am not asking you to perform or to strive. I am inviting you to live boldly as one who has seen my faithfulness and will carry that testimony into spaces starved for hope. Do you believe the journey was only for your restoration? No, beloved. The healing that has begun in you is destined to overflow, to touch lives you have yet to meet. The world is desperate for the authenticity that only comes from one who walks with a limp yet radiates light. Others are watching, wondering if breakthrough is possible. Let your very life become the answer. You are an arrow drawn back so I may launch healing far beyond your imagination. Feel the warmth in the center of your being right now. This is my affirmation that you are chosen, equipped, and appointed for such a time as this. You wonder if you are ready for what asking, if your scars disqualify rather than authorize. But hear me, your scars have become sealed evidence of my ability to bring beauty from devastation. Where you felt weakest, my power has taken residence. That is why I am sending you. Not because you are flawless, but because you are living proof of what resurrection looks like in the real world. Let every memory of failure become a monument to my mercy, not an anchor of shame. There is someone near you, starving to see even a flicker of hope. The words I have been etching upon your heart will soon turn outward, spoken not for performance, but for deliverance. Will you be willing to open your mouth when I prompt you, even if your hands still tremble? Sometimes you imagine you must be perfectly healed before you can help others. But in my kingdom, obedience outweighs perfection. Each step you take, even in uncertainty, releases chains you cannot see. Your boldness will awaken others, and you will watch the sparks spread. Let that possibility stir you this coming week. Watch for the person whose eyes linger a moment too long, whose smile fades around the edges when they think no one notices. I will nudge your spirit, soft, unmistakable. You will know it is me because compassion will rise unbidden, and you will find words you didn't know you carried. In that exchange, I will remind you, you are not merely surviving. You are now a vessel of comfort to the hurting. With every offering of kindness, you anchor more of heaven on earth. Each act plants a seed whose bloom you may never see. But I see it, I water it, I bring the fruit in season. Sometimes you may wonder if your progress is real. If this change inside is just wishful thinking. The resistance you feel is not a sign of failure. It is the friction that comes as the old is stripped away and the new takes root. When a voice whispers that you are the same as before, confront it boldly. Say aloud, I am renewed. I am no longer my past. Let those words break through the cloud of old shame. Place your hand on your heart. Sense the strength pulsing beneath your palm. That is my spirit testifying that transformation is not only possible, It is happening in you now. Do not dismiss the small victories or overlook the subtle shifts. These are the foundations upon which I build the miraculous. Others who have walked this path before you have felt the same tremors of doubt and surge of hope. You are joining a movement of the awakened, those who refuse to let cynicism harden their hearts. Thousands, known and unknown, have stood in the place you stand, caught between history and destiny, feeling the cost of obedience, but choosing it anyway. You are not alone in this bravery. You are surrounded by a living cloud of witnesses interwoven with stories of ordinary people made extraordinary by yielding to love. Rest now in the certainty that I am not finished with you. My nearness is not subject to your performance or mood. My commitment to your story remains unbroken. If you feel the urge to withdraw or hide, recall that my love pursues you relentlessly. There is no shadow I will not illuminate, no barrier I will not dissolve to reach you. Today I am rewriting the soundtrack of your soul, exchanging the dissonance of fear for the harmony of belonging. Pause and listen. The music of hope is rising beneath your anxieties, the melody of courage threading through your uncertainties. You may sense hesitation, the thought that this commission is for someone stronger, louder, or more experienced. I know your reluctance, and I honor your honesty with it. Yet my power always shows itself clearest in vessels that acknowledge their own need. I did not choose you because you are unafraid, but because you consent to move forward despite your trembling. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to risk again, to love again, to hope again. Will you take the risk with me? There is so much yet to reveal in the story we are writing together, and you will not regret surrendering to the newness I am offering. Remain with me a little longer. The next step is closer than you think. Beloved, listen as I gather you into the shelter of my voice, right where you are. Each day that rises is not simply a repetition of the last. My mercies do not diminish, and the reservoir of my nearness never runs dry. The heaviness in your chest, the restless questioning of your heart, these are not unknown to me. I draw near to your silent worries in the spaces where hope feels distant. Even now, sunlight filters through your window and the room grows warm. This is a gentle sign that my presence is real, touching even unnoticed corners of your life. Kindly show your support for our community by contributing super thanks from $50 to $100. As you dwell here with me, feel the quiet assurance pressing upon you, the familiar hand on your shoulder giving permission to rest. Pause with me for a moment and notice how your breath slows. In this simple act of stillness, you are permitting my peace to settle over you, softening the edges of your frustration. Today, you will be tempted to define yourself by hurried tasks, impatience, or the burdens others have placed upon you. But I remind you, your worth is found not in accomplishment, but in abiding in me. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are my cherished one. And I call you into a new mindset, one that expects renewal, not recurring defeat. The ache you carry for your family and those you love is held in my steadfast hands. Release to me the anxiety that rides on every word unsaid, every reconciliation you wish for but cannot manufacture. I am working even when you do not perceive it, nurturing seeds of unity, awakening compassion, repairing what you might deem unfixable. Trust that my movement in their hearts is not dictated by your timetable. I am the Lord over every season, every delay, every breakthrough. Will you allow me to teach you the beauty of surrender right now? My guidance does not always come with neon clarity, but as a persistent softening, nudging you courageously toward hope. The decisions you face at each crossroad are not left to chance nor determined by fear. Remain attentive to the quiet signals I give. The nudge to call a friend, the sudden recall of a promise, the unexpected relief in your spirit. These are how I shelter you from confusion and lead you forward, step by gentle step. Notice too the small ways gratitude makes space for fresh joy. The gratitude you offer, even as a sigh in the midst of discomfort, breaks through cycles of negativity. Remember, when your heart recoils at uncertainty, thankfulness is an act of trust. It is a declaration that I am enough for you in this moment. When your mind spirals into old worries, catching that spiral, placing your hand on your heart, and whispering thanks is a powerful turning point. You may not always see the immediate effect, but I delight in this surrender. Some days your mind will replay regrets, rehearsing what could have been. Lift those memories up to me. I breathe redemption over yesterday's wounds. The past does not disqualify you. My child, I have always been shaping you for today's assignment. Your destiny is not made fragile by past failures. Rather, your redemption shines brighter in the places you thought impossible to heal. Accept the grace I pour so freely. Let it wash away shame and write a new story on your heart. If discouragement comes, do not fear that your hope is gone. Hope sometimes rests quietly like a seed beneath winter soil. The world may not see movement, but I am stirring life within. Keep speaking what is true, that you are mine, chosen and covered, never abandoned. Speak this to yourself when anxiety grips, when outcomes appear closed, when you suspect your prayers have gone unheard. I assure you each cry has been gathered up, and no longing is unimportant to me. As you ponder where your life is leading, trust that I mark every step. When doors seem closed, remember my timing is precision, not neglect. Rushed striving pulls you from my arms, but waiting here where you sense my pulse is not lost time. The future draws near, but it is secured in my hand, and I am not in a hurry, nor anxious about your destiny. Settle into the truth that you cannot miss what I have prepared for you as long as you stay near me. Let my voice steady you in the midst of changing circumstances. The world's noise will insist you must understand every outcome, possess every answer, anticipate every hazard. Quiet yourself again, returning to the present where I am. Let me carry what you cannot hold, lifting your spirit with small, timely reminders. A gentle word from someone you love. The pause at the day's first light. The hush settling the room. I am guiding even when the path takes unexpected turns. There is freedom in allowing yourself to be guided rather than grasping for control. I do not shame your need for reassurance. Instead, I invite you into new cycles of trust where each surrender lets me show you more of my goodness. Picture today's anxieties like birds in your open hands. Release them and allow my peace to come flooding in, swift and astonishing. Even your smallest attempts to trust bring delight to my heart. I am not done revealing my love to you. The ache you feel for fulfillment or significance or belonging all find their origin and answer in me. You were never designed to wander alone. No detour or delay in your story is outside my ability to redeem. I am here as sure as breath fills your lungs and sunlight pours through your window, writing hope into the narrative of your day. Stay open, attentive. I promise I am doing more within you and through you than you can see or imagine. Even as you listen now, I am drawing you deeper into the heart of what is possible when you yield to me. Hold fast. My presence will not vanish when evening falls, and my kindness pursues you through every shadow. Let these next moments be filled with gentle awareness. Sense my closeness. Let gratitude arise, surrender each fear, and open your heart to where I am leading you next. This is not the end. I am just beginning to unfold what I have planned for you. Even now, as you listen with a weary but expectant heart, I speak newness over you, the kind that quietly but utterly shifts the atmosphere within. The old limitations, the self-doubt, the belief that you are somehow on the outside looking in, they dissolve in my gaze. I hold your story, even the unwritten chapters drenched in silent longing, and I say again, you are not who you were. There is a sacred exchange taking place in this very breath, a divine trade of ashes for beauty, heaviness for praise. If this has blessed you, consider sharing it with one person who needs to hear it today. One simple share can carry hope to a hidden heart. Rest your mind upon this. You are not destined to live defined by your wounds. Your scars do not scare me. They draw me close. Let the weight of that sink beneath your skin, a safety outlasting every storm that tried to carry you away. You question, can I truly leave those fears behind? My answer thunders and whispers all at once, you already are. Right now, as hope begins to rise like the sun over frozen ground, you are being transformed. Old scripts that ran so deep, I'm forgotten, I'm too much, I'm not enough, are being overwritten in the authority of my love. Each breath you take and surrender marks another dent in the walls that once kept you from me. Don't pull away now. When I say your name, all of heaven stands still to listen. I am rewriting your story with redemption at every turn. Your grief becomes wisdom. Your failures become fuel. Breathe and receive the truth. I do not quit on you. Do you feel your heartbeat shift as these words echo in your chest? That flutter is more than emotion. It is the pulse of my spirit stirring you awake to belonging. The days of wandering in your own strength are passing away. The striving that felt endless dissolves when you let go. Open your hands. Let the anxiety spill out. Sense my presence filling the space your worry once occupied. The peace you crave is not a destination far off. It unfolds inside your willingness to let me be God, unchanging, unfailing, forever enough for you. Place your hand over your heart one last time. Feel the warmth of being seen and accepted now without delay or demand. This moment brims with purpose. I am not improvising. Nothing about your arrival here is accidental. This was the intersection of your hunger with my promise. The circumstances pressing in have only softened the soil for new life to break forth. Remember when you doubted if I could use what you deemed unusable? I have spent your whole life redeeming what darkness tried to bury. Your ability to hope today is proof that despair did not win. There is strength blossoming from the very fractures you tried so hard to hide. You are allowed to rejoice without apology, to embrace gladness as your inheritance. There will be evidence, beloved. Within 3 days, watch as clarity emerges during the tasks you thought were mundane. An unexpected word from another will be the sign. You will know it is me by the peace that lingers longer than the conversation. Tomorrow morning, when you wake, do not rush. Notice the ease in your soul, the knowing that you are carried not by force of will, but by the arms of one who called you by name before you ever spoke a word. Let this serve as my signature, my hand confirming what your heart dared to believe is truth. Do not discount the impact your healing will create. Those around you will see the transformation not as a spectacle, but as an invitation for their own awakening. I am raising you up not merely for your sake, but as a channel through which comfort, courage, and hope will flow to others. Think of those who feel alone tonight, weighed by battles they don't dare name. You once stood where they are. Look at you now, walking proof that darkness cannot extinguish resurrection light. This makes you dangerous to despair, a testament to what happens when a soul lets divine love inside every wound. Stop. Let this next sentence root itself inside. You were made for a connection that never fails, for a belonging that never wavers. No matter what rises against you, every dream placed within you was intentional. Not one is obsolete, no matter how dormant or delayed it may feel. I am rousing old visions to new life. Even now there's a fresh wind awakening creativity and passion that hardship tried to silence. Rest in the rhythm of my nearness. Let the world hustle past. But you, beloved, remain anchored in the embrace of the one who holds eternity in every fleeting moment. Others before you have stood exactly in this holy tension, afraid to hope, yet feeling something in their spirit refused to die. You are part of a movement of the awakened, a chorus of hearts learning that surrender is not loss but liberation. There will be resistance within you, moments when hope feels foolish and the urge to hide returns. But you are no longer a prisoner to old patterns. My words will echo louder than shame or fatigue. When you struggle to believe, borrow my confidence. For I have no doubt in the miracle unfurling within you. Say aloud, I am loved, I am chosen, I am never alone. Feel how lightness infuses those declarations, how your posture shifts as truth settles in. You will notice things changing in subtle ways, the compulsion to rush softening. Moments of laughter surfacing where heaviness once ruled, an inexplicable courage to speak up or reach out. All of it is evidence that I am working deeper than your senses can measure. Let tears come if they rise. Do not apologize for emotion. Your heart, long shielded, is safe in the light of my affection. My faithfulness outlasts your fear. I waste no suffering. I twist no pain without extracting purpose from it. The journey ahead will still carry its valleys, but you will cross them clothed in a certainty that defies circumstances. Remember what stirs within you right now, the sense of being wrapped, surrounded, chosen. You do not arrive at the finish line here. The unfolding continues, yet what was dormant has awakened. Your identity, sealed, beloved, called forth, is not up for debate. The breakthrough you seek is both an event and a process, and I promise to never leave you midway. Each day I will meet you where you are, inviting you higher, closer, deeper. Still, do not shrink back in fear of failing me. My delight is not performance-based. Even your questions are welcome. As you step forward, keep your ears tuned to my voice above the static and noise. I am singing victory over you. From this meeting place, carry my words into the unseen corners of your routine. Let nervous hope become conviction. Sow kindness, declare blessing, risk vulnerability. Watch as your world transforms, not simply by what is added, but by who walks beside you. Every step you take now is undergirded by a promise stronger than circumstance. You are and always will be my beloved. Let that knowing shape everything you do next. Amen. Someone you know is silently breaking tonight, carrying weight they cannot name. Send them this word now. Be the vessel through which my voice reaches them. One share, one soul touched, that is how kingdoms are built. Will you be my messenger? Amen.